Do you drive yourself insane with all of those overwhelming thoughts and questions, asking yourself if he does find you attractive? Does he like you? Is he interested? Don't worry, because we've all been there. It can be so hard to pinpoint a guy's feelings for you, especially if he is the type to hold his cards close to his chest and not give anything away. With all these new mind games that people like to play and the use of social media, today's world of dating is completely different, and trying to navigate your way through it can be daunting. We've done some research and successfully pointed out a few ways for you to tell if a guy is sexually attracted to you, so you can put that little voice in your head to bed and stop worrying. Now, it's important to understand that guys are a little different to us gals. They don't always think about feelings and emotions. Sometimes they think more about the physical side of things. Don't be disheartened, they just think differently. So, let's get into it, shall we? Flirt. If a guy is sexually attracted to you, he will go out of his way to flirt with you in all different types of ways. Depending on how confident he is in himself or how confident he is in the thought that you like him too, his actions will be more or less bold. For instance, if he knows that you like him back and also you find him sexually attractive, he will skate a lot closer to the boundary lines he thinks you will have, because the thought of being rejected won't be as prominent in his mind. Flirting can differ from person to person. For example, some guys will flirt by winking at you or smirking at you whilst they're talking to you. Some guys could use physical touch to flirt, like tucking a piece of hair behind your ear, exactly like they do in all of those romantic comedy movies that we loved as teenage girls. Touch. It's important to pay attention to how many times a guy can find any excuse to touch you whilst in your presence. If he's sexually attracted to you, something in his brain will be saying, touch her, feel her skin, like a primal instinct. But of course, he has to understand boundaries and personal space, so he won't jump on you like animals do on the Discovery Channel. Instead, he will do small and consistent gestures to touch you, like reaching out to hold your hand. He could place his hand on your thigh while you're sitting beside one another talking, or make sure your knees are touching. Imagine you have a bubble around you and he's getting closer and closer to you, so the bubble bursts and he can be right next to you. This is his goal. Any little gesture he can do to be able to touch you and feel that skin-on-skin contact, he will do. Effort. Now, we know how much a guy making effort with us is super important to us. It makes us ladies feel so fuzzy inside for reasons we can't quite put our finger on. So, if a guy makes a conscious effort with you, then it's clear that he likes you, and depending on the area in which he's making an effort, it would also indicate that he's sexually attracted to you. Men know that there are certain things they can do to drive a woman crazy, and making an effort by planning a date or asking them to hang out is a huge green flag. I can hear all the ladies swooning right now at the thought of getting that "be ready for 8 p.m, we're going on a date" text message. Take note, guys. Jealous. Let's say you're in the middle of a conversation, you're going into depth about a situation, and then you mention another nine's game. And his name. Did his eye twitch? Sometimes the green-eyed monster comes out and pokes its head up at the thought of another guy being around you, which should instantly tell you that he thinks of you sexually and does not like the idea of another guy occupying your thoughts or time, especially if he's not there to oversee it. A little bit of jealousy is good, because it shows you that he does care about you and is somewhat territorial about you, or protective, depending on how you look at it. Eye contact. Eye contact is a massive sign that a guy is sexually attracted to you. It's almost as if he can't keep his eyes off you. When he's looking at you, his imagination is running wild about all the things you could be doing together. In a crowd of people, he will actively scan the room until he finds you. If he tells a joke, he will immediately look at you to see if you laugh, because he wants to know if you think he's funny and charming. Holding eye contact with someone can be a very sensual thing, especially if you find yourself in some form of sexual encounter. Ladies, make sure you're making eye contact when you're performing, and I guarantee that you will drive him crazy. Dilating. In addition to eye contact, it's been scientifically proven that when you look at something or someone who brings you joy or happiness, your pupils will grow bigger and dilate. Whether that be looking at a nice piece of chocolate cake or someone that you're sexually attracted to, check his eyes, girls. Are they like big puppy dogs? Copycat. When you spend a lot of time with somebody that you are happy around and find sexually attractive, it becomes second nature to adopt their mannerisms and characteristics, almost as if you morph into two halves of the same person. If you notice that he says certain phrases that you say, or he started to fidget with his fingers in the same way that you do, it means he's been watching you closely, and he's noticed your little traits and slowly started to adopt them. You can test this while you're in a conversation with them. Slowly lean forward and place your elbow on your knee. Does he copy you? Try tucking your hair behind your head or fixing your hair in some way. Do his hands reach for his hair without a second thought? Initiation. Sometimes it can be difficult to pinpoint where you stand in a guy's life, how he thinks about you, or where he wants you to be. If he initiates holding hands, leaning in for a kiss, or even leading you to a place where the two of you can be alone and uninterrupted, then he is definitely sexually attracted to you, and it seems like this is one of the main thoughts he has. Be careful though, ladies, sexual attraction doesn't always mean emotional connection. We don't want a guy to use us and then walk away, do we? 8 key points that you can look out for when trying to figure out if a guy is sexually attracted to you. Have you recognised any of them before? Maybe now that you know about them, it will become easier to spot these little tricks that they do. You know the way people mention a blue car and then for the rest of the day you spot a million different blue cars? That's kind of what it's like when you know how guys move around you. It's important to go into a situation like this with an open mind. Not every guy that is sexually attracted to you will want a relationship with you, or even have feelings for you. But if you're okay with that, and you just want a bit of fun too, then by all means hop on and have a great time. Guys don't always get emotionally invested in things the way us women do. As long as you know that, then you will save yourself a lot of heartbreak and disappointment.